What's up guys, this is Gerard talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'll be making a full review for the Romancing Festival Leon banner. This guy here is amazing, but he's also accompanied by many good styles. Leon is a multi-type of support. He heals, he gives BP, he gives buffs, and a lot of other stuff. Gerard is a main healer, but also can decrease damage taken. There is a parry specialist that can also cover and buff when being hit. James is a prime time debuffer for both STR and intelligence, and Therese is a multi-purpose damage dealer and party supporter for both. A lot of good stuff to talk about this banner. Starting with Leon, we have very low STR. He's not someone to do damage, just 97%, but he does have 120% endurance and 130% will. This is something that helps him because he has a passive that allows people to get higher status, but he himself won't get as much. He has 85% agility only. Agility is a problem and why you should be promoting Leon. And he does have 90% intelligence because of one skill that can be used in one of his cycles. Moving on, he reduces damage taken for all allies by 30% at all times. No questions asked, works all the time. Then he increases damage potential by 30% at all times as well, for all allies. Then on start of turn, he will buff all status of everyone by 20%. That's free, just like Minstrel. Then he recovers 1 BP for everyone as well. That's already a very good start, right? Then on start of battle, grants all other surviving allies this passive called Emperor Support. Hence why I said he needs some help with status, because everyone else's will get more when they are hit. They buff 5% of all status. And in a fight where the enemy attacks multiple times, this can actually stack a lot. So much that a boss can actually behave differently if you are buffing too much. But it will depend on the fight, much like Razen also sometimes triggered different behaviors on bosses because you were debuffing too much. When recovery actions are made, you will also grant a defense boost that decreases damage taken by 50% to the target that got healed. Well, this is pretty amazing because Leon will combo super well with someone, call it Matriarch. Well, if buffs are allowed, Matriarch is just really good. And you can use her for that second skill, Heaven's Heal. Heaven's Heal is an AoE healing that also buffs all status by 40%. Remember? When on max level. And she can use it 2 times, no LP use it, and she gets a new stack every 5 turns. So, when Matriarch heals now, she already buffs and will still apply a 50% damage reduction. That's pretty big and important. So it's not just about Matriarch, it's also about the other character from the banner, Gerard. Gerard, newest style, can also heal a lot with his skill number 3. We'll be discussing Gerard in a few. He has a skill Potions for All that will heal, cleanse from ailments and debuffs, and then even other effects, but you'll be using this skill every 2 turns on general, so when Gerard is healing, he will also give this 50% damage reduction. It has to be a recovery spell, much like Gerard has. Spell or skill doesn't matter, but it has to have the recovery tag for it to trigger the effect. Okay, so Leon is someone that will help other people a lot. Then, when activating Merciful Light, that is his second skill, that is full AoE and sun damage, and it does need a sun sword. It comes with one during the event, and it recovers HP by around 1.2000. Then it grants an end of turn very small recover that will be healing around 300. So it's pretty nice because it costs 5 VP, and when using with him, it will also recover 5 VP for everyone, including Leon. So he doesn't spend BP when using this. And at the end of every 5 turns, counting from the start of battle, he can recharge Merciful Light. So it's a panic button to use, and will allow you to heal and give extra VP to people. But you may still not want to use this skill too much because Leon is someone that can also apply defense boosts. Now, when attacked, damage taken will be reduced by 40% at all times. This is exclusive to him. And if he reaches 0 HP, he dies, of course, but he will then recover HP of everyone's by 2000 or something. He will also combo super well with Shrey because, well, if he dies, something's going wrong with your party. But, well, Shrey applies damage block in the next turn if someone is dead. And then you can revive Leon with Ray of Hope, if that happens. So Leon can be used on a taunt position on formations where he will actually work super well by even taunting if you want. He can taunt with one skill. And if he dies, he helps recover HP and works well with Shrey. Also on start of turn, he has 1 damage block, allowing him to tank even better, because he has very good endurance and will already. Now, when landing an attack, he chases with Healing Light Blade. Healing Light Blade is a single target attack, slash and sun, that recovers our allies' HP by around 300. This is a pretty weak attack. It's just so that it gives Leon even more effects, healing more. Now, as you can see, he's not strong. He's not here for damage. It's all about support. First skill is Valiant Slash. This one is Slash and Sun, free, E-power only, pretty similar to a normal attack, but it then recovers his HP by small effect. That will be around 1,200. It's nice because, well, if you desperately need to heal just Leon, it works. But Leon doesn't want to use his skill, to be honest. He can use skill number 3, Imperial Sun's Work. It's a direct, fast, single target attack with Slash and Sun. It's good because it's fast, because you will apply an attack and defense boost of small effect. That means 15% value. It lasts for 2 turns and stack. It's super nice to have the defense boost. And it just has 8 power, so damage is non-existent. But it also casts this other passive, called it Light Blasting, that on the end of turn you will recover your HP and also 1 BP. Since this lasts for 2 turns, if you have enough BP, you can actually use Leon's skill 2 times in a row, and then you will recover 3 BP per turn, alongside at least 3 very small healings per turn as well. 2 by the end of turn, and 1 from the chase that he always do via Healing Light Blade. So you can see that the guy has a little bit of everything. He will be able to help you heal, help you decrease damage taken, help you with BP generation. His BP generation is even better than Katarina. And, well, Katarina is a good character we need to discuss about, because Katarina is the best character released on her point. Then we got Shrey, and now you got Leon. Katarina helps because she can give you up to 2 BPs if you are being hit by attacks that will cause resist. So 2 BP per turn is nice with a character that has multi types of utility. So Leon can be compared. Katarina wants to resist the attacks and wants to land weak attacks to get all of her kit working, while Leon does not need that. He works in any squad without caring about equipment, but they stack and they work well together. Now, as for Shrey, Shrey is also different. Shrey is more focused on defense boost than healing, although Shrey can heal by quite a lot, and he also gives BP to everyone. He also buffs everyone on start of turn, so 3 BP as well, meaning that one can help the another give BP to keep using their best skills. Okay, so those 3 characters are meta units, and what I have to say is that if you only have Shrey or just Katarina, you have to summon for Leon. He's gonna help. If you already have both Shrey and Katarina, it is okay to not use Leon, because, well, you may not have enough gens, and I have to explain that you'll still be able to clear content. Leon just makes it even easier. Now, we can discuss inheritances, and he does have Imperial Glory from his Global X style. This one here is a full AoE attack, and then when he uses, he will be buffing all status for everyone by 30%. It does have a very big cost of 13 BP, but the first hit is spell-based, and there's just the problem of having very low combination of agility and intelligence and maybe missing this hit. And then he changes with Imperial Sword, that is an AoE attack with Slash and Sun. This is only if you are in need of more buffs, because in the end, it's still better to cast more defense boost most of the time and also apply the extra BP. There is also Steel Light, that is a skill that can taunt. Like I said, he is a good character to receive hits because he has good resistance, and if he dies, he recovers the team. And it's a 10 BP skill that recovers around 1.2 thousand HP. And it will still recover an extra very small for at least 1.5 thousand healing, getting your HP at least from 0 to half. So there is inheritances, although this character really does not need anything. He is just self-sustainable and ready to fight hard challenges. The only problem is that he's a sword user, and we do have a lot of good sword users, but that doesn't matter. He works everywhere. He is a must-have for some people that have only either Shirei or Katarina, but not both. But even if you already have them, he's a good addition to the squad, especially since he's gonna pair up extremely well with the newest Fire and Press when it comes. And he takes 5 out of 5 in my grading system. The next character is Gerard, and he's an odd one, very odd one. 105% endurance and 130% will. Very nice will. But low agility, strange intelligence, and low STR. But good luck because he's a healer. He actually uses potions. It's actually interesting because he's a Romancing Saga 2 character, and potions are used a lot there. He reduces damage taken from all allies by 30%, much like in Leon. And he also decreases the chance of being targeted by enemies. It looks like this is permanent, so he just has a permanent stealth. By the end of turn, he recovers all reviving allies HP by around 350. He has very big love. And also recover 1 BP to himself. And then he has a very interesting mechanic where if no damage is taken by himself in that turn, he then grants all other surviving allies a damage block for the next turn, of course. This says no turn limit. That means that you could stack, but in current fights, enemies attack so much that it's pretty rare for this to trigger. But if it triggers, you grant a full damage block for 1 hit. Now, he does have lots of things related to his skill number 1 and 3. More into that later. When he's attacking, he also has a 30% damage reduction at all times, and still has a 25% chance to evade. That helps him trigger his passive sometimes. But, okay, let's talk about his skills. He has one that is damage, Valiant Slash, a free one with E-Power that recovers HP by around 1.2 thousand. That's free, and you could use this when you don't have EP to use his best ones. But there is also Balm, a potion from Romancing Saga series. Can be used 5 times per battle, and he revives, recovers not that much, but it should be enough to get close to 2,000. Then he has Potions for All that should be healing around 2,000 or more, and it recovers, revives everyone's, besides also removing all ailments and removing all debuffs applied to the party for 8 BP. This costs, and the other ones are free. So, can only be used 3 times per battle. It's nice because it does not use LP, so you are not in danger, but it's pure healing, nothing else. And now we need to discuss what else he can do with the healing effects, because, look, when recovery actions are made, he recovers his own HP by at least 1.5 thousand. He would then increase his own and the target's status by 20%. If it's a single target skill like Balm, he will be healing himself and the target, and also buffing himself and the target. If it's the AoE, Potions for All, then everyone gets healed, everyone gets status buff, and he gets healed twice. That's how it works. Okay, now, from turn 3 onwards, he then adds more stuff to recovery actions. Like, he will add very small healing by the end of turn that lasts for 3 turns. That's already pretty nice, because if you consider that a small healing, that's what you can do with people like Nirza in the past, and many of the healers of recent times, it's around 4 times a very small healing. If it's 300, it's equal to 1.2 thousand. The same healing from Valiant Slash. But, so 3 stacks of very small, it's almost 1 stack of small, and you are adding this to the end of turn. And it lasts for 3 turns. Like I said, Gerard is actually better to be used for AoE healings every 2 turns. I will explain in a few. Then, starting from turn 5, he would grant the target this end of turn revive 1 time. So, what does that mean? if you are unconscious, that you will revive. The good thing about this is that if you are using many defense boosters, you can still protect the character on the next turn. Maybe even cast healing with block like Gerard has, because it may not be enough time to cast all defensive support to a character. I don't think this is that important, but in some fights it can help you, like Death helped it in the past, but current game you need so many buffs in a character that when they lose by dying, it doesn't give you enough time to protect them from dying on the next turn as well. Okay, so at the end of every 5 turns as well, he will then recharge the usage of Balm and Potions for All by 2. Okay, so you usually don't use Balm that much. What you care about is the usage of Potions for All. Since you start the fight, you don't actually want to use Potions for All in turn 1, right? Don't need to. The best approach is to actually use Potions for All on turn 3, because you would then already cast the end of turn recover. So you should use something else with Gather before turn 3, or use Potions for All on turn 2. On turn 1 you are on full HP, right? And then if you use Potions for All every 2 turns, you're going to heal enough and cast the end of turn very small healings that will reduce the stress of a need of using Potions for All every turn. And since many characters can also give end of turn healings here and there, like Gerard, like Leon, well, your Gerard can actually help a lot by healing. And you will not be in a fight just because of the healing, because many times you already have enough healing. It's because of the debuff cleans and the ailment cleans, but probably the debuff cleans because this one is Terror, and he competes with the latest Sirius. Sirius can also heal, can also protect a little, and can also remove debuffs. So it's trying to compete with that character. Okay, now that we discussed his main skills, we can talk about Inheritance. And he doesn't really combine well with Steel Light, because he has stealth, he doesn't like to be attacked. And if you are taunting, you will never trigger his damage block to the party. But, well, that's not really game-changing anyway, so you could still inherit if you wanted so much. If you have enough VP, you can cycle Steel Light and then Potions for All. Steel Light, Potions for All. You can also inherit from his passive style the skill called Flying Light Slash. This one casts the supportive posture that gives a random surviving ally an attack boost and a defense boost for 2 turns, and these follow his stack. It's 25% damage reduction and 30% damage increase if I'm not mistaken. And it's random. You can cast this 5 times per battle with this version. So every turn that you're not healing, you can use this so that you have extra effects to everyone. But if you prefer to heal, you can also, via Therese word, you'll be buffing all status by 25% and then green than this attack boost. It's better for remembrance than anything else. There was also Gleaming Valiant Slash, that is a 4 BP cost attack, but why, right? He's more about healing or support. Just inherit either Therese Word, Flying Light Slash, or Steel Light. Nothing else matters for this character. So only one style of him actually makes all impact, because I believe Flying Light Slash is the best inheritance most of the time, and sometimes Therese Word, while his Steel Light style has less utility. Overall, Gerard is pretty skippable. The way that he works is way too gimmick. He also gets much better if you have Leon, because he would then apply that 50% defense boost because of Leon passive. Remember, we just discussed that, and it's better this way, because you're not just healing, you are applying defense boosts. And if you can keep up that AoE healing every 2 turns because of recharging and casting again, it works. But eventually you will not have enough casts to keep using it every 2 turns, but you get close. So if you got Leon and you got Gerard, they can be used together in some points. But Gerard by himself doesn't have much utility, I would say. He deserves a 3.5 out of 5, but it's pretty skippable. The next character will be James, and James has good enough SDR. 98% dexterity, he doesn't miss that much. Even if an enemy keeps self-buffing, he can actually land attacks. 104% agility because he's a debuffer, he likes to have high speed, 100% intelligence, and 100% will. His intelligence is not that high as it should have been, but he himself can fix this. And if you are bringing other characters that buff status on start of turn, he will still be fixed anyway. He starts the fight with 11 BP just because he has an 11 BP skill. Okay, he then, when landing an attack, will recover his own HP by around 300. Also, 1 BP will buff all surviving allies STR dexterity and intelligence by 5, and then will grant them an attack boost of, I believe, 5%, yeah, for 3 turns, and it stacks, but this guy attacks multiple times. When he lands an attack, he also chases with Sword Chain Plus, 2 times that even. Sword Chain Plus is a skill that has Slash and Pierce attack, and when the attack lands, there is a chance to debuff intelligence by 15% because it will be rank 1. 8 power only, but 2 hits of 8 power equals triple S potential. If you are using a triple S weapon, that is. So, he would then actually recover 3 BP, because he attacks 3 times. He would then recover himself for at least 750, buffs everyone's STR dexterity intelligence by 15%, and also give them a 15% attack boost that lasts for 3 turns and stacks. So he helps offensively as well, not just defensively, because he's a debuffer. Besides, when attacking on overdrive, he changes with skill number 3 that we'll be discussing in a few, and he gets 25 points of overdrive. Gosh, that's nice because he actually enters overdrive quite a lot. Each of his changes builds 12 points of OG, so you get 24 points, and then you already get 25 by the end of turn. No matter what you do, you always be on overdrive every 2 turns. Okay, then he gets 40% damage increase at all times and reduces damage taken by 30. That's his only damage reduction passive, but it should be enough because he is not that weak for physical or magical. Okay, so skill number 1, Soaring Blade Plus. It's a single target attack with slash and pierce damage. Costs 1 BP only for deep power and grants the target slash and pierce defense down. 15% for each type if you range level 99. Lasts for 2 turns. It's just something that could be used if you don't have enough PP, but he's a debuffer. He does not like to use this anyway. Skill 2 is Sword Chain Plus, but as a command, slash and pierce again. 8 power, and this one can reach minus 20% intelligence debuff when you are on max potential. Like I said, this guy here does not have that high intelligence, but since he self-buffs when attacking, he will keep increasing his intelligence to have good chance of debuffing the enemies. And if you are using Sword Chain as commanded and 2 chases, you actually debuff the intelligence of an enemy by 50%. That's right, a very big value. Then he can be your main intelligence debuffer. There are some bosses that have some Dark Souls that you cannot reach, like if you debuff 50% it may be too much, but it depends on the fight, and usually an enemy will use the fight weakness or some other mechanic by the end of turn. Well, if he's fast enough, he will debuff the enemy, and that will help a ton. Then the third skill is Triple Strike Sword. It's slash and pierce again. It hits 3 times with E power. That should equal a triple S power attack, and it has a chance to debuff the enemy's STR by 15% per hit. Okay, that reaches 45% STR debuff with just the use of this skill. So, even after 45% STR debuff, you can debuff intelligence by 30%, so he works for 2 different fronts. If the enemy casts both STR and intelligence-based skills, you're going to debuff a lot. And if you are on overdrive, remember, he changes with skill number 3. If you want, you will be able to debuff a lot of STR. Well, if you are on overdrive, use Triple Strike Sword. It's 45% STR debuff, plus another 30 because it's rank 1, for a total of 75% STR debuff. That's way too much, and the enemy will be doing 0 if it's STR-based skill only. If it's an MR skill, it will still do damage. And after that, you still debuff intelligence by 30%. Well, on overdrive, if you want, you can actually use Sword Chain as your main, because then you will debuff intelligence by up to 50%, and you will still debuff STR by 30. You choose, depends on the behavior of a boss, but that's a lot of debuff. The only problem is that James does not offer anything else besides debuffing. Like, he does not offer something like damage reduction to the party or anything, and does not have access to a buff break. Well, he is someone that will be compared to Paulus, because Paulus is considered the best debuffer overall because of what he actually does. Paulus can debuff STR and intelligence as well via inheritance of Meteor Strike that comes from a Platinum style that everyone has access to, but Paulus also allows everyone to debuff because of his impair measures, where people will be debuffing 5% of either STR or intelligence, and also endurance and will, and up to 2 times for 10% total without even having access to a debuff skill. While Paulus can also debuff with use of his own skills. So the thing is, Paulus has Earthquake Strike. That is an AoE attack that can also remove all buffs applied by the enemy. So even though James does not need party synergy or anything, sometimes you may still want to use Paulus because of this buff break. Or even the still useful Aspergal, because she has access to Witch Trick from her inheritance that can remove all buffs from the enemy and then debuff all status, but debuff intelligence by at least 20%, sometimes by 25%. She debuffs much less than what you can achieve with James or even Paulus, but there are situations where Asper is useful, and she can chase with a skill that can give you BP when attacked by spells. That is Psychic Hunt. Well, but they are usually still used in different situations, and if it only removes debuffs by the end of turn, James is the best pick. Sometimes even better than Paulus. Depending on your squad composition, Paulus may still be better, but they still land different types of damage. And as for inheritance, you could inherit Flowing Slash Plus. That is a cheaper skill, 5 VP, and it can also debuff STR by up to 20%. So he will use Flowing Slash and then debuff intelligence. But I think if you want to debuff intelligence, you are better off just using Sword Chain. But here it's just so that you have a little bit of a mix. Some STR debuff and some intelligence debuff if you don't have 11 BP. Overall, James is a very good style, and the problem is just that buff break is not here. He deserves 4 out of 5 in my new grading system. The next character is Bear, and this guy here is a pretty interesting tank. Has 135% endurance and 130% will. Very, very high values. He doesn't have much speed or anything besides endurance and will, to be honest, but he's not someone that should be doing too much damage. He can, but he's more of a party support. He starts the turn by casting Taunt, that has large effects, pretty high. Stacks and lasts for 4 turns. Also, when landing an attack, he casts a defense boost to himself that is small, decreases damage taken by 15%, lasts for 2 turns and can stack, and he also recovers 2 points of BP. That is nice because he can actually chase by use of skill number 3. It's a single target fast attack with slash and blunt, double element, and before attacking he grants all surviving allies an attack boost of 30% if max rank, lasts for 2 turns, and he also self-heals for 1.2 thousand or more. The attack itself is not that strong, just adds power, but then he would chase with Brave Sword. That is a single target attack, this time just slash, and it has 4s power. And before attacking, he grants all surviving allies, including himself, a morale up very large that will then increase their damage potential by 40%, and then launches the 4s power attack. So the first hit doesn't do much damage, the second one does much more, and he still helps people with 70% damage increase. If he keeps using this skill every turn, he actually gives 100% because the attack boost will then stack. But he doesn't have any damage increase, as you can see from his passive, but he can buff status when being hit. Okay, when he is also attacked, he will then cast himself a defense boost that will decrease damage taken by 15%, lasts for 2 turns. So when attacking and when attacked. And one good thing is that the skill number 3 costs 10, but since he attacks 2 times, he actually recovers 7 BP. He does not need that much BP from other sources, like Leon, using a skill 3 every turn already gives him enough to keep his main cycle. Now, when an ally is being attacked, he has a 50% chance to cover and reduce damage taken and protect. This is nice because it has a high chance to happen, and it is even better in a fight where the enemy uses mostly just single target attacks, and if the enemy fails to attack Bear, he still has a 50% chance to protect this other target. For AoE scenarios, it still works because in that case, only 4 people will be hit because the one that he protects does not get hit. And he likes to be hit because when he is, then You'll always be buffing STR, Dexterity, and Intelligence by 15% for everyone. Now, if the attack is a skill, he will then buff Endurance and Love by 15%. That's good because if the enemy is using a skill, you need Endurance to reduce damage. Now, if you are being attacked by a spell, he will then choose to buff Will and Charisma. As you can see, Love and Charisma are related to healing, so he will also help you heal more. If you can buff in a fight, that is very good, because you can reach very, very high values. Some bosses can attack at up to 10 times a turn. Imagine the amount of buffs you can reach. But if the enemy uses buff breaks, either because you are buffing too much or because of some rules, this will stop pretty soon because he will buff too much. But it's both offense and defense, and he's now bringing the combination of, for example, Golden Ball. Golden Ball buffs Endurance when she's hit or when she casts that skill to someone else. And remember Princess White Rose? She also used it to do that in her Halloween style of so much time ago. But these characters were also replaced by Sidious. Sidious can also do similar. As you can see, Sidious buffs one offensive status and one defensive status. He is a little more restricted the way that he's used because it's just one status buffet and one defensive status buffet. That is a little different than Bear, that just buffs all three offensive status, STR, Dexterity, and Intelligence, only lacks Agility, and then chooses one defensive versus the type. Besides, he also decreases damage taken at all times by 50%. Now, for skills, first one is Strike Slash, plus it's a single target slash and blunt attack that can stun the target, but forget about that. And can also debuff the agility by 15%. Remember that this is not a real debuffer and 92% is not enough and it should not be debuffing. Skill number 2, Convalescence Slash. It's a AoE attack that can recover HP of everyone by around 300, and it's almost free for 1 BP only. You should not be using this much as well. The third one, Grand Sword, is a single target slash and blunt attack. We already discussed that. It follows up with a slash for S power attack and can grant you attack boost and morale up alongside healing the character. Because if he's being hit, he needs to heal. So the skill already gives more damage to everyone while still healing himself. But this guy is also used because of a meme setup called Parry. Yes, you can place it on a formation like Rising King or the Imperial Cross or Rising Phoenix and then use parry every turn. Well, he only gets 3 BP per turn if he's not attacking, but if you are using BP batteries, he can keep using parry, and in fights where the enemy uses too many single target attacks, he'll then parry all attacks that goes towards him, and then he can use cover with parry. That is pretty nice. But it's also very dependable on the fight, because I think it's much better when there are too many single target attacks. If not, you can just use him as he is and keep using this skill number 3 to still give more to the party instead of just the parry. But depending, he can protect more via parry. I don't think he's gonna die easily anyway, so parry is more of a meme setup than anything. Parry is a pretty useful style because he's both offense and defense, and will receive a 4 out of 5 in my new range system. The last character is Therese. This one is amazing. Besides just being good already, they buffed her to Stratosphere on Global. Her endurance is 96% and will is 102%. For a bow unit, I love this. She has 130% dexterity for damage and even very high agility to try to go before anyone since she buffs and also applies defense boosts. Now, when landing an attack, she will then self-recover for around 300 and also recover 1 BP. Nice. And she will then buff Endurance, Will, Love, and Charisma for everyone by 5%. This is nice because it doesn't easily trigger the enemy's behavior when you are buffing too much, but it will still depend on your squad composition. She will also grant all surviving allies a defense boost that decreases damage taken by 15% and lasts for 2 turns. And remember this because this is amazing. Look, when you use skill number 3, Frozen Arrows, that's a 10 BP attack with single target, Pierce and Cold, attacks 2 times with 8 power, and will grant her a Pierce and Cold attack boost. That will increase the damage for the 2 elements by 25%, and she can chase many times, so this is a good skill to use. It's critical versus human and fishes as well. But when you use this skill, you grant her another stack of passive number 2. So, Swift Archer has plenty of different effects. Instead of a turn, if her Overdrive Gauge is full, she grants herself an attack boost of medium effect to increase her damage potential. It should increase damage by 15% if I'm not mistaken, just for that turn, but stacks with other sources of attack boost. And if Overdrive Gauge is not full, she would then grant herself a defense boost that would then decrease damage taken by 15%, only lasts for that turn, but can stack. So, if she's on Overdrive, more damage. If she's not, protect more. By the end of a turn, she gets 15 points of OG Gauge. And then, after activating Overdrive attack, she's gonna chase with her skill number 2. That is a single target attack with Pierce and Cold that attacks 2 times with C power. 2 times C power equals triple S power as well. So damage is okay. You are essentially getting a free triple S attack. And I just said that you can get 3 other stacks of Swift Archer by using her skill number 3, Frozen Arrows. Now, okay, we will reach a point where we have 4 stacks of all of this? Yeah. Okay, so then on the start of a turn, if she is on Overdrive, she's going to have 4 stacks of 15% attack increase. If it's not on full, she'll then get 4 stacks of 15% damage reduction. And then when she attacks, if she's on Overdrive, okay, she will chase with double Ice Flower up to 4 times. There's something happening in the game right now that if you use it skill 3 times in a row, but you were on Overdrive on turn 3, she won't chase the 4 times. She can only do that by turn 4 onwards. But still, when she is on her full potential, she chases 4 times and each hit has C power. Pierce and Cold, it's nice because there's not as much competition for Pierce at least. She also combos well when used together with people like Kihachi and Sinon, Swift, all of those. Okay, she would then also get as much as 60 points of OG Gauge, that's insane. And she can easily reach OG Gauge every turn if you're using Shirei. Shirei gives up to 30 points of OG Gauge if he's using skill 3 every turn. It means that she only needs to get hit twice by the enemy to reach Overdrive, so that she can't use Overdrive every turn. But okay, now that we know this, remember that when landing an attack, she will then buff Endurance, Will, Love, and Charisma by 5%. Okay, she can use a skill and changes 4 times. That means that she would then buff 25% of all status here, Endurance, Will, Love, and Charisma. And then apply 5 stacks of defense boost that decrease damage taken by 15%. Lasts for 2 turns, meaning that even if you get to Overdrive every single turn, you can stack this up to 10 times. She will then be recovering HP and DP, become extremely defensive, and not need extra BP generation. But there is more. If you have her Summer style, you can inherit either Rapid Fire or Double Phoenix Arrow. Usually Rapid Fire is better, even if it's weaker. It has deep power. Both skills have 2 hits. One has Dexterity buff on each hit. That will be buffing Dexterity by 25% on each hit for a total of 50%. The other one actually reduces her Dexterity. It's a self-debuff, but heals. So you should use this based on your squad composition. If you have many people buffing Dexterity, maybe you will get more via Double Phoenix Arrow. But if you don't, well, just use Rapid Fire, this will be enough. So she actually still does more damage with the chase attacks, because the second option will decrease her damage with the chase attacks. Okay, and 2 attacks in each of these skills, meaning that she will then have 6 stacks of Imperial Archery. She will self-heal 6 times by round 300, get 6 BP, on Overdrive of course, and buff Endurance, Will, Love, and Charisma now by 30%, while also applying 6 stacks of defense boost to the party. And if you manage to get to Overdrive every turn, you will then stack up to 12 stacks of defense boost. It's not that crazy. Yes, it is, but I have used Therese already. I have videos here on the channel already showcasing her. So That's really great. Therese can also replace Monica in many situations. We got this Monica and she can reach as much as 8 attack and defense boosts to the party. Well, we don't give attack boost to the party with Therese, but we give defense boost. Monica decreases VP cost. That's different. You can still use both together. You reach points where the enemy will barely do damage at all. And since both do pierce damage, they can be used in squads where the enemy is weak to pierce. And you can even ignore the enemy weakness with them because they are still amazing nonetheless. Plenty of small or very small buffs don't seem so good, but when you stack so much, it just becomes. So in the end, Therese is also good because she's a bow user, and she's easy to use for the new Remembrance battle versus the Megalith Dragon. It is possible to clear stage number 5 with bow units if you have Therese, and of course other units as well. And she even has extra damage on overdrive. As you can see here, she has 20% at all times. Then she gets 40% on combo, 40% on overdrive for 100% total. She also decreases damage taken as well every time by 30%. A lot of different mechanics. So the character is good, is the best one after Leon, and deserves a 4.5 in my new grading system. Even if you got Leon, I think if you already have at least 10,000 coins, it should be worth chasing Therese because this banner is good. But if you got Leon pretty soon and don't mind about Remembrance battles, it's okay to skip Therese, but she is an awesome unit nonetheless. Now, back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? Yes, it deserves a gold award. Yes, I know, again, but this banner is just that good. With Leon being the best one, he is a healer, buffer, EP battery, all-around parts utility, and can replace Katarina or even Sheree in some squads. Can work well with them. Will be very easy to use for the future. Then we have Therese, that is an insane character that deals damage, buffs the party, applies defense boosts, and is the best one for Remembrance. James, a prime time debuffer that is just insane if you don't need buff break, the best option we have. Then we have Bear, that is a very good support for fights where you can stack many buffs, and he can protect well as well. And Gerard, best healer in the game right now, but his cycling are still a little obnoxious. But nonetheless, it can still work. A banner with 5 useful styles, with the best one being Leon, and then Therese, and then either James and Bear, with Gerard being the last. I summoned in here. I just had to skip Bear because I got Leon on my 9,000 coins, and that is enough for me. With that said, thanks so much for watching. What is your opinion? Say here in the comment section, and I hope to see you soon in the next video or live stream. Goodbye.